So, I was looking at some travel trends recently, and there's this fascinating shift happening with people going to Japan.
Oh, yeah.
For years, the standard checklist was, well, it was pretty predictable. You get the rail pass, rent the pocket Wi-Fi, make a list of 10 sushi spots from Instagram.
Right. You run around Tokyo like a maniac trying to see everything.
Exactly. The classic fear of missing out itinerary. I'm exhausted just thinking about it.
Hmm.
But now we're seeing this totally different kind of traveler. And I have a hunch a lot of our listeners, they fall into this bucket.
Okay.
These are people who aren't just flying across the Pacific to sightsee. They're going there for a reset. They're booking stays for Toji, that intense hot spring therapy, or like heading to the mountains just to unplug.
We call it maintenance travel.
Yeah.
You're not going there to be entertained. You're going there to be well repaired.
Physical and mental maintenance.
Exactly. And when we talk about maintenance in Japan, the conversation usually starts and ends with the onsen. You soak in hot water, you feel better. Simple.
But today, we're looking at the other half of that equation. We're digging into shrines, or Jinjya. But I have to admit, when I first saw the research pile for this, I was a little skeptical.
Skeptical how?
Well, shrines usually feel like the sightseeing part of the trip, You go, you look at a pretty red gate, take a photo, and you leave. I didn't really see how that fits into a wellness retreat.
And that is the biggest misconception we need to just dismantle today. If you treat a shrine as a photo op, yeah, it's just a building.
Right.
But if you dig into the history, which is what we're doing, you realize that shrines were essentially ancient mental health facilities. They were part of a holistic healing system designed to work with those hot springs,
These who do what?
to quite literally reset your entire operating system.
So the whole premise today is that the shrine and the onsen are actually a package deal.
They're two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to Japan for a retreat and you only do the hot springs, you're only taking half the medicine.
Okay, that's a bold claim, so let's test it. If we want to understand this medicine, we probably have to strip away all the modern tourism stuff first.
Absolutely.
So where did this system actually start? Because when I picture a shrine, I picture architecture. The curved roofs, the vermilion paint.
And that's exactly where we get it wrong. To understand the function of a shrine, you have to go back way before the architecture. We're talking Jomon and Yayoi periods, thousands of years ago.
Okay.
This is the root of Shinto. But Shinto isn't really a religion like a Westerner thinks of Christianity or Islam. There's no founder, no Bible, no weekly sermon.
So if there's no book and no founder, what are they worshiping?
The environment itself. This is animism. It's the worldview that spirits or kami are in everything, but not just everything randomly.
In what then?
Specifically in things that inspire awe. A massive ancient cedar tree, a thunderous waterfall, a strange-looking rock, a deep, dark forest.
So originally there was no building.
None. The shrine was just a roped-off area in the forest. The forest was the god. The building is actually a really new invention, relatively speaking. It's just a backdrop. The main character has always been the Chinju no Mori, the sacred forest.
Jinju no Mori. That sounds like something out of a fantasy novel.
It's funny you say that because a lot of international visitors say the feeling of entering these spaces is like stepping into a Studio Ghibli movie or Middle-earth.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's not just trees. These are often primary forests that have been protected for centuries.
But how does a bunch of old trees translate to a mental health facility? I mean, I like a walk in the park, but I don't call it medical treatment.
Well, modern science has started to call it that. You've heard of Shinrin-yoku,
Forest bathing, yeah.
right? We now have hard data showing that spending time in these dense old-growth forests lowers cortisol, drops your heart rate, boosts your immune system.
Wow.
The ancient Japanese didn't have the word cortisol, but they understood the mechanism. They knew that when you crossed that boundary into the Chinju no Mori, your internal state shifted. You weren't in the village anymore. You were in the domain of the kami.
So it's a sanctuary. But I think for a lot of us, sanctuary implies this religious pressure, like I need to believe in the dogma to feel the peace,
And that's the beauty of it. In Shinto, there is no dogma. There is no demand for you to believe anything. You don't have to convert. The shrine is a spiritual nature sanctuary. You're there to connect, not to be lectured.
That's a huge distinction. That sounds much more accessible for a traveler who just wants to clear their head.
It is. It's an open system.
Okay, so I'm with you on the nature therapy part. Walking in a sacred forest is relaxing, I get it. But let's bridge that to the other part of your trip, the onsen.
Mm-hmm.
You said they're the same system. That still feels like a stretch. One is a cool walk in the woods. The other is a hot bath. How are they linked?
They're linked by water and by the concept of purification. I mean, think about what a hot spring actually is. It's water gushing out of the earth, heated by the planet's core.
Right, it smells of sulfur and minerals.
Exactly.
Right.
To the ancient animist mind, that wasn't geology. That was Kamiyu divine water.
So the bath itself was a spiritual act.
Absolutely. And this connects to how they historically viewed sickness. This is really important for anyone going on a retreat to grasp. In the West, we think of sickness as a pathogen, right? A virus or a bacteria.
Sure.
But in the Shinto worldview, sickness was often seen as kegar.
Kegar, I've seen that translated as impurity, which honestly sounds a bit judgmental, like you're dirty.
It's a bad translation. It carries way too much Western religious baggage. If you break down the word, ke means energy, and care means withered.
So Kegar is withered energy.
Withered spirit or depleted energy.
Oh, I love that, withered spirit. I mean, that sounds exactly like burnout.
That's exactly what it is. It's not about being a bad person. It's about your life force running low. Because of stress, grief, just the daily grind, you accumulate this spiritual dust.
Like rust on a car.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
So if sickness is a withered spirit, then the cure is recharging.
Purification.
Yes. And this is where the system clicks together. You have a two-part prescription. The shrine is for the purification of the mind. You go there to wash away the mental dust, the anxiety, the noise. That's the software update.
And the onsen.
The onsen is for the purification of the body. You use the heat and the minerals to sweat out the physical toxins. It's the hardware repair.
So it really was a medical system.
Yes. Before modern hospitals, this shrine plus onsen combo was the integrated medical system of Japan. Look at a map. Famous shrines and famous hot springs are almost always paired up.
Like what?
Izumo Taich and Tamatsukuri Onsen, Hakon Shrine and Hakon Yumoto. That wasn't an accident.
So the doctor would literally prescribe a trip.
Essentially, yes. The prescription was a cycle. Prayer, bathing, and rest.
Yeah.
Go to the shrine to align your spirit, then go to the onsen to heal your body.
That completely changes the whole vibe of a trip. If you're planning this retreat, visiting the shrine isn't some detour. It's the therapy session before the massage.
Precisely. If you only do the bath, you're missing the mental reset. You might feel physically loose, but your mind is still cluttered with emails and stress.
You need the shrine to clear the cache.
You got it.
Speaking of clearing the cache, the notes mention something about the Japanese OS. This idea that nature worship installed a specific operating system in the culture. I hear people talk about the vibe in Japan, how polite it is, how orderly. Is that what we're talking about?
It goes deeper than just politeness. This animism, this idea that nature is powerful and full of spirit, it shaped how people navigate the world. One of the key traits in this OS is a profound sense of humility.
Humility towards other people.
Humility towards everything.
Oh.
Think about Japan's environment for a second. It's volatile. Typhoons, earthquakes, volcanoes.
Tsunamis.
Right. You cannot control nature there. If you fight it, you lose. So it created a culture that accepts living in harmony with, rather than dominating nature.
So instead of man versus nature, it's more like man surfing nature.
And that flows into the concept of ambiguity. This is something that really helps stressed out Westerners. In nature, a storm isn't evil. It just is.
And a sunny day isn't good.
It just is. Nature doesn't have a moral compass.
How does that help me if I'm stressed about my job?
Because the Western mindset is so binary. Success or failure, good or bad, right, wrong. We're constantly judging ourselves.
Yeah, that's true.
The Japanese OS, rooted in Shinto, is much more comfortable with gray areas. It accepts that things are always changing and you can't control it all.
So stepping into that shrine environment is a way of practicing letting go.
It's a physical practice of surrender. You are entering a space where you are small and the forest is big. And that is incredibly relieving for a modern ego that thinks it has to control the whole universe.
I can see that. It's like, okay, these trees have been here for 500 years. My deadline probably doesn't matter as much as I think it does.
Exactly. You stop fighting the current.
All right, I am sold on the philosophy. I want to clear my withered spirit. But now we have to get practical.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of us, and I'm including myself here, get a little anxious at shrines. We don't want to be the rude tourist doing it wrong.
That's a very common fear.
So walk me through it. I'm at the entrance. I want this to be a retreat experience, not just a sightseeing stop. How do I actually do it? The notes mention a hero's journey framework.
Yeah, think of it as a narrative arc. You're
Mhm.
not just walking in a circle. You are crossing a threshold, undergoing a transformation, and then returning.
Okay, step one. I am standing in front of the big red torii gate. What do I do?
Stop. Don't just walk through while checking Google Maps. The Torii is a boundary line. It marks the transition from the profane human world to the sacred world of nature.
So it's a mental switch.
It's a trigger. The advice is to bow slightly, just a small nod to acknowledge the space, and take a deep breath. Tell yourself, I am leaving the busy world behind.
Okay, I've crossed the line. Now I'm on the path, the sando. Usually it's gravel, right?
Almost always gravel, and this is where most tourists mess it up. They rush. They power walk to the main building to get it over with.
Big deal, too.
For the retreat effect, you need to walk at half speed.
Half speed? Seriously? That's going to feel painfully slow.
It'll feel uncomfortable at first.
Yeah.
But listen to the sound. Crunch, crunch, crunch. That sound is part of the design. It's called tamajari. The gravel acts as a purifier. The sound signals to your brain that you are in a different space.
So the sound itself is the therapy.
It's a sensory anchor to the present moment. If you rush, you miss the medicine.
Okay, I'm walking slow. I'm crunching. Next up is the water station with the ladles. The tamizu. This always stresses me out. I feel like I'm going to splash myself or drink the water wrong.
It's simpler than it looks. But again, the intent matters more than the technique. Remember Kigari, the withered spirit.
The spiritual dust.
This is where you wash it off. You're not scrubbing dirt. You are ritually washing away the stress, the fatigue, the emails, the arguments. Imagine that cool water physically rinsing away the burden.
So it's not about hygiene. It's a reset button.
It is a ritual reset. You wash the left hand, then the right, rinse your mouth symbolically, and then wash the handle. It takes 30 seconds. But if you do it with that mindset, it's powerful.
Okay, hands clean, mind clearing. Now I'm at the main hall. There's a bell, a box for coins, people clapping. The climax, what's the strategy?
This is the most important hack for our listeners. Most people treat this like a wishing well. They throw in a coin and think, I want a promotion, I want a new car, I want to be rich.
I mean, who doesn't want those things?
Sure. But if you're there for mental maintenance, wanting is the wrong energy. Wanting implies you are lacking something. It creates stress.
That's true. I want is basically saying I don't have.
Exactly. So the expert advice for a retreat visit, don't ask for anything.
Nothing.
Nothing. Instead, offer gratitude.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for letting me live. Thank you for this beautiful nature. Thank you for this trip. When you shift your brain from a state of lack to a state of gratitude, you trigger a parasympathetic response. You calm your whole nervous system.
That is actually a huge shift. Just standing there, clapping your hands and saying, I'm okay, thank you.
It sounds simple, but try it. The feeling is completely different. You're not begging the universe for favors. You're aligning yourself with it.
And
then you bow, you turn around, and you walk back down that gravel path. And by the time you exit that tour gate, you've completed a microcycle of rebirth.
You've washed off the old, expressed gratitude, and you re-enter the world a little lighter.
A little later. And then you go to the onsen.
And the bath feels 10 times better because your mind is quiet.
Exactly.
It really is a brilliant system. It makes you realize these ancient traditions weren't just superstitions. They were practical technologies for keeping humans sane.
We think we're so advanced with our apps and our therapy, but the Japanese figured out this nature plus ritual OS thousands of years ago.
And it's arguably more relevant now than it ever was. We live in a world of just absolute digital overload. We're constantly plugged in, constantly notified. And here's this technology, literally wood, water, and stones that solves the exact problem we have right now.
We need it more than they did. They had nature all around them. We have to actually seek it out.
I want to leave our listeners with one final thought on all this. When we talk about wellness, and especially when we pack for these trips, we usually think about what we need to add.
Right. We add vitamins, a new workout, a meditation app.
We treat wellness like consumption.
Yeah.
Exactly. But looking at this whole shrine and onsen system, it seems like true wellness is actually about what you remove.
Subtraction, not addition.
Right. It's about stripping away the noise, the kiar, the stress, the status anxiety. You aren't going to Japan to become a new you. You're going there to uncover the person who was there before the world piled all that dust on top of you.
That is a beautiful thought. You're not fixing yourself. You're just remembering yourself.
Something to think about as you walk through that torii gate.
Yeah.
Safe travels, everyone.
Enjoy the silence.